Let's start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति न साक्षोररिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are studying the Mandukya Upanishad, the Shankaracharya. Today happens to be the Shankaracharya Jayanti day. All over the world, we celebrate Shankara's birthday today. His 1236th birthday is conducted today. Shankaracharya lived sometime in the 7th century. His exact date of birth is question mark. It's a mystery. We don't know the exact dates. But we celebrate today his contribution to Vedanta Shastram is unmatchable. He has written so many commentaries on all the Bashyam, all the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. Plus, he has written several compositions on the different gods, on the different topics of Vedanta. So with that, we'll start with our Mandukya Upanishad session today. We are in the 5th Karika. We have finished the first 6 mantras of the Upanishad. After that, Gaudapadacharya has written 9 Karikas, 9 verses to summarize the first 6 verses of the Upanishad. We are in the 5th Karika, which we'll be seeing today. We started last week. The 5th Karika is one of the most important mantras of Mandukya Upanishad because it summarizes the entire teaching in that verse. The whole teaching is packaged in that one small verse. When you see the commentary, you will understand and appreciate the whole essence behind the Karika. What does this Karika state? I will go to the slide where we stopped last week. And here we are analyzing the nature of the experiencer and the experienced in the 3 states. This is the Karika. This is the actual verse which we are seeing. Trishu dhamasi yat bhogyam yatcha bhokta means what? In 3 stages, whoever is the experiencer and whatever is experiencing, the world of experience and the observer, the experiencer. Gaudapadacharya says, whoever knows this, he is not affected by anything which he is experiencing. Now, he is making a very bold statement here. What he's saying is, it is only a question of understanding and knowing. There is nothing to do here. It's only to know what is happening in the 3 states. If you know the methodology or the way in which the three states are coming and going, you will not be affected by those states. Now we will see why he says this, how we, if we come to know, how will we not be affected by the three states? What he is saying, now this is an additional note of Gaudapadacharya. What this is an additional note. It is not mentioned in the first six mantras, but he is mentioning it, Gaudapadacharya, he is mentioning it out of his own style of teaching. Now, what he says is, there is one entity, there is one vastu, there is one reality, which is called as Turiya, which can independently exist by itself. This is very, very important to know. See, we are only trying to understand the world and understand our nature and the nature of our mind. In order to understand this, Gaudapadacharya says, you have to come out of your body and mind and assume the role that you are a Sakshi. You are something called as Turiya. You're not connected with the body, mind, and the world, but you are observing the world. When you are observing the world, you put on a vesham, you put on a covering to observe words. It is a conditioning which you have in yourself, which is called as Maya Shakti. When you are observing the waking state, you become the waker and you experience the waking world. When you experience the dream world, you become the dreamer in the dream world. A different costume, different dress. And then when you go to the third state, which is the sleep state, you are dropping the waking world, dropping the dream world, and resting in another shariram, which is called as Karana. So, what Gaudapadacharya says is, as Turiyam, as Sakshi, you are always asangaha. Asangaha means not connected, relationless. You are, when you are observing, you are not related to it, you are only watching, you are only observing. That is the nature of ours according to the Shastra. This is an extremely important point because if you can understand this, then you can understand the seventh mantra of the Upanishad. The same message is given in Bhagavad Gita. We have covered this last week, but I'm just trying to revise it so that we can see the whole mantra together today. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manye tattvavit pashyan shrinvan jigran ashnan sopan. So what Lord Krishna says is the same message. He says that I am the Lord of the world, but I am not connected with the world. Same thing we can also say if we can attribute our nature as consciousness. This is the fifth chapter, eighth mantra. Then there is another beautiful mantra in the third chapter. Tattvavittu mahabhavo gunakarma vibhagayoho gunaguneshu vartante iti matvana sajjate. Very, very important mantra of Bhagavad Gita. See, these are the verses, if we understand correctly, we will be able to say that it is the gunaha, the Maya Shakti, which is there in the individual and in the world outside. It is an interaction between the guna in the body and the objects outside. Both have got gunas and they are interacting. That is what is called as nature. That is what is called as prakriti. One who knows that he is not the prakriti, but he is in his presence, in the presence of consciousness, prakriti is acting. The same message is given in the 16th verse of the 18th chapter. Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha pashat krita buddhitvat nasa pashyati durmatihi. So a person who has not trained himself, he will be looking himself as the doer. That means, suppose you don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, you will be thinking in ignorance that I am the doer of actions. Yasya nahankrito bhavaha buddhi yasya na lipyate atvapi na imam lokan na hanti na nibhadyate. One who is not tainted by his actions, what will be his thought process? His thought process is, neither I am killing anybody, neither I am bound by any action. These are very, very high level thoughts taught to Arjuna in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna has gone through the whole Gita. Now he is ready to pick up this knowledge of Atma. Atma Tattvam is being taught to him. Why do we experience the waking state? It is because of prarabdha karma. So prarabdha karma is the cause of the experiences of the body and mind. But I, as Turiya Chaitanyam or Sakshi, am not affected by anything which happens in creation. Now, this is called as Nitya Mukti Swabhava. Gaudapadacharya is taking us to the highest form of knowledge in this particular verse number 5. This verse, this particular paragraph, summarized in slide number 471, summarizes the entire Mandukya Upanishad. You have to understand this clearly. The three states of experiences are always with the objects of experience. You don't find a waking state without the waking world. You don't find a dreamer without the dream world. You don't find a sleeper without the ignorance. That is the first lesson he's teaching in this. And then what does he say? He says that it is one entity which is called as Turiya, which is enjoying, which is appearing as the Bhokta and the Bhogyam. Bhokta means the waker. I am a waker. I am enjoying the waking world. Whatever you do in your life, you are either enjoying. That is what he's saying. Similarly, in the dream also, you are the dreamer. You enjoy the dream world. So there is a relationship between the Bhokta and Bhogyam. Now, this bhokta and bhogyam is a reflection of that consciousness. We must keep that at the back of our mind. It is not the original consciousness. Original consciousness is only a sakshi. So it is a reflected consciousness together with the mind becomes the bhokta. And it is the same person, that same bhokta who slept and the one who dreamt. That is what he's saying. It is one entity which we all accept. See, we say when we get up, we say, I dreamt, I slept, and I woken up. So according to the first 5 months, there is one entity which is illuminating the entire experiences in the three states. That illuminator does not get affected when the states are happening. It is not even doing the job of illumination. In its presence, the waking mind comes up, and in its presence, the waking mind goes to sleep. So nothing happens to the illuminator. For example, the fire which is there in the log of wood, when the fire is burning, nothing happens to the fire. The logs get burnt. That is the example which Shankaracharya gives in this paragraph. In um, in Ishavasya Upanishad, there is this verse which talks about praying to the Lord Agni and who can remove our sins of the past. Trishu dhamasu yat bhogyam. Three states and three bhogyam are the three experiences. The threefold objects of experiences are pertaining to the prapanchas. They are not belonging to the bhokta. Bhokta means the experiencer. World is separate. It is separate from the experiencer. And the witness is totally separate from the experiencer and the experienced. So this ladder you should understand. Witness, experiencer, experienced. Witness never affected by the three prapanchas. Therefore, you can claim yourself as immortal. If you understand the world like this, that is why Gaudapadacharya says, you can understand your own nature that this is the world, this is what I'm experiencing. But unless you come to Mandukya Upanishad, you will not get this vision. Now, he is giving several examples of other Shruti statements which explain the same thing, which gives the same message. Let us start looking at one by one. Svetashvatara Upanishad says that it is one Devata which is hidden in all the human beings. One Sakshi, one Atma in all the minds. The trigger for your mind, the trigger for my mind is the same Paramatma, Swarupa. So in the Svetashvara Upanishad, it says that all the beings, their actions are presided by one Ishvara. That Ishvara has got two veshams. One is it is always with the world, and the second is it is the cause of the world, and the second it is called a Nirguna Tattvam. The Nirguna Tattvam is called as pure consciousness. And the waking world and the dream world is called as conditioned consciousness. The conditioned consciousness is always with the gunas. Pure consciousness is nirgunam, which we are calling it as sakshi. Same idea. Bhagavad Gita. Upadrishtanamanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti chapyuktaha dehesmin purusha paraha. 13th chapter, the brilliant chapter, which is the Vedantic chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It says, again talks about the type of Sakshi. What we are discussing in the fifth mantra, same thing in Shvetashvara Upanishad, same thing in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, how do we express this Sakshi? It is expressed as Upadrishta. Upadrishta means Bhokta. What is the Bhokta? Vishva Taijasa Prajna. Upadrishta means it is a witness, but it is as the witness is called as the spectator. It is only permitting the transactions in the world through the Maya Shakti. It supports. But when it is supporting, we also say that it is the enjoyer, the Lord of the whole universe. Because without that, there is no universe. Next is Dakshinamurti Stotra. This verse number 6 of Dakshinamurti Stotram says, Rahu grasta divakarendrushu sadrishaha maya samachadana. Maya. What is Maya doing? Whenever we go to sleep, in the deep sleep state, we are covered with this Maya Shakti. Therefore, we don't know my real nature. Suppose this Maya Shakti was not covering this mind, then we will know that we are the pure self. Once you know the pure self, that is what is the ultimate goal of all the seekers. So the one who enters into the deep sleep state, he is the one who is covered by this Maya Shakti because Ishvara is present there. You are not aware of that Ishvara. If you ask a normal person, he will just say, I went to sleep. But when you come to Mandukya Upanishad and you try to understand what happens in the sleep state, you will say, I was one with the cause of this entire world. And you will believe it. You see, it is a fact. It is a fact which is being revealed in the Upanishads. So, it is one Turiyam as Sakshi, which is nirgunam by in its intrinsic nature that appears as the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. This is the main point Gaudapadacharya and Shankaracharya they want to bring out in this verse. Up to this is the first half of the Karika, the first line. Now we get into the second line. In the second line, it says Yahaveda. Yahaveda means whoever he understands this truth of Turiya. He can be from Africa, he can be from America, he can be from Japan, he can be from any part of the cosmos. If he understands that this is the nature of his mind, this is the nature of Ishvara. Ishvara is the trigger for these entire experiences which we have. And beyond that, Ishvara has got a Nirguna Tattvam, which is called as Sakshi. Once he knows that I am ultimately merging into that Tattvam in my sleep state, what will he say? As per that Ishvara status, I don't have a birth or death. Birth or death belongs to the Sthula Sharira. But the moment you cross over and identify with the Karana Tattvam, which is the Ishvara in the sleep state, you are free. So, what have we learned now? Gaudaparacharya is summarizing the first 5 mantras in this section, in this fifth mantra. Vishwa is the waker, Taijasa is the dreamer, Prajna is the sleeper. The three pairs, they manifest and unmanifest. You see, this is the way we have to understand creation. Normally, we'll just say, I'm a baker, I was born, and I will die one day. But that is not a jnani, it is ajnani. Having come to Mandukya Upanishad, you should say, I am the consciousness. In my presence, the body, mind, and world, they come and they become unmanifest. If you are not able to say this in your own mind, you don't have to explain it to anybody else. You don't have to tell your wife or your husband or, that this is what is happening. This is what I have learned in Mandukya to say. In your own mind, you must be able to say, I am the Satchidananda Turiyam, which is Karana Karya Vilakshanam. This Karana Karya Vilakshanam is going to be explained in the seventh mantra of the Upanishad. Gaudapadacharya wants us to get ready. He wants our mind to become ready to receive this knowledge. Therefore, he is writing these Karikas. Prajna, the deep sleep state, is a Karanam. Please understand this very, very clearly. This is the essence behind the whole Mandukya Upanishad. If you don't understand Prajna, that means the sleeper merged in Ishvara is the Karanam, the cause of this waking world. The waking world and the dream world is Karyam. It is a product. As a product, you can have many, many, many beings, many, many products. Variety will be there in the products. But in the Karanam, there is only one. That is why all of us in our sleep state experience the undifferentiated universe, potential universe. Whether you sleep today, whether you have slept in the past, whether you will sleep in the future also, the undifferentiated, unmanifest world, the potential world which you will experience in the sleep state, in that particular state, you are already one with the cause of the universe. This point must get registered. You must read the commentary of these slides. You must read it again and again so that you understand thoroughly that is adhishtanam. That sleeper, that Ishvara is the adhishtanam. That Turiyam. See, between Turiyam and Ishvara, there is only a very small difference. Saguna Turiyam, Saguna Brahman is called as Ishvara. Nirguna Brahma is called as Turiyam. The only difference is in the gunas, Saguna and Nirguna. So, for example, rope is the Adhishtanam. Now we are changing our format of Jiva Jagat Ishvara, which is a triangular format, that slowly, when we come to the sleep state, we are changing the format. Try to be very careful here. This is where understanding the Upanishad is very tricky. But if you know how to do it, you will be able to accept the Upanishad state. Here at the sleep state, what are we saying? There is an adhishtanam. Till now, there was Karanam and Karyam. That was the language we were using. Here we are using the language of adhishtanam and adhyasa. Adhyasa is mithya. What are we saying? The two padas, That means the waking state and the dream state. It is mithya. What is Satyam? Satyam is the Turiyam or Ishvara. For example, when you look at a chain or a ring or a bangle in Vyavahara, we can have two visions. One is what is the Satya vision and what is the Mithya vision. When you say it's a ring I am seeing, it is Mithya vision. When you see in the same ring the Adhishtanam, the gold, that is called as Satya. So similarly, in our waking state, we can also have this vision. Going through the body, mind, and the transaction is Mithya vision. What is the Satya vision which you get only from the Upanishad? This Mithya has got a Satya Vastu, which is Turiyam. That Turiyam is not affected. Mithya is affected. So you have to go from the Mithya body-mind complex to the Satyam consciousness, the Satyam Sakshi, and then you can say what was said in the Bhagavad Gita, the 5th chapter. Naiva kinchit karomiti, yukto manyete tattvavid, Bashyam, Shrinvan. That means the actions at the Vyavaharika level are going on, but I do not change. I am not affected. I am akarta abhokta. So you can continue many times in the Q&A session, the people ask me, how do I hold on to that Ananda Swarupa of Atma? When I get involved, when I'm working in the world, when I'm is it possible to hold on and say, I am Atma while I'm in the transactions, in the middle of the transaction, in the middle of the battlefield, in the middle of my battlefield of my life? Can I say that I am Atma? Lord Krishna says, yes, you can. Remember this verse of Bhagavad Gita. When the Lord says, I don't do anything, what he means is, as Sakshi, as Atma, as consciousness, I am changeless. I was Sakshi, I am Sakshi, I will be Sakshi when this body drops. This is called as immortality. This is exactly what is the two levels. Vyavaharika Satyam, Paramatika Satyam. When you understand these two levels of reality, Indriyasyarthe ragadvesho vivastithau tayorna vashamagachetau hasya paripanthinau. When the sense organs are acting in the world, don't get attached to the sense organs. You can remain aloof with this knowledge of Atma. Okay? So it is the Turiyam which gets divided into Bhokta and Bhogyam. Yesterday in my Taittiriya class, for people who have attended that, I mentioned that the mind splits itself, that consciousness which is there, which is my real Swarupam, when it goes through the prism of the mind, the moment it goes through the prism of the mind, the first thing which happens is there is a split between me and the world. As soon as I wake up in the morning, in the sleep state, I am consciousness. The moment I wake up, what happens? This split happens. Why does this split happens? Because of Maya Shakti. This you can never cross over because this is impossible. Nobody can cross over. Only by knowledge you can cross over. What happens? I become a bhokta and the world becomes bhogyam. Why does this happen? For the jiva, because of the law of karma. But you have to cross the law of karma and say, this is the world, but I am not affected by the karmas. because my nature is always changeless. I am the Turiyam that is getting split into Bhokta and Bhogyam. Bhokta is called as Vishva, Taijasa, Prajna. Bhogyam is called as the Stula Prapancha, Sushma Prapancha, Ananda Prapancha, or causal world. And in the world, always there will be variety. Always there will be Bheda. But in the Turiya Vastu, it is Abheda. Turiyam is not inside or outside because it is me. You can't objectify it. You have, that is why we say in meditation, just say Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi means I am that pure consciousness, the Turiyam consciousness, which the Mandukya Upanishad is teaching me. I have gone through the sessions and therefore I can understand. That is what is called as Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means what? I no longer identify myself as the waker, dreamer, sleeper in my intrinsic state. Intrinsic state means I am the pure Atma. It is at a cognitive level. Sannidhi Matrena. Sannidhi Matrena is very important statement in Vedanta. In my mere presence of the Sakshi, in the mere presence of the consciousness, existence, Turiyam, Brahman, the world of Prakriti manifests, unmanifests. Anatma is going through the prarabdha karma. Anatma means the body-mind complex. I am not going to go through the body-mind complex. It is the anatma. Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha. It is only the untrained mind. We have seen this verse before. I'm just repeating it so that you can remember these verses and say, I am not that ego factor. I am not the Vishwa, Taisa, Prajna, which is going through its motion of Prarabdha Karma. Jnani does not have Agami Punya Papa. He is free from the body which is seen and which is disappeared. Entire creation is for ekasya bhokta. Bhojasya sarvasya. Sarvasya is very important word in the Karika. In the Karika, this word comes Bhojasya sarvasya. That means for the entire universe, there is only one bhokta, one ultimate, because Chaitanya is of the nature of consciousness, and in that presence, everything is working. Same idea of oneness is given in the third verse of the 13th chapter. See, so many verses Shankaracharya quotes. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetrajnyo jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. Here, what it says is that now we are going to the samashti level. At the samashti level, there is only one kshetrajna. It is appearing as many, many reflections in different minds. When it appears as a reflection, it becomes the individual. As soon as you get up in the morning, it is your individual mind, individual jiva, which goes through the motion of the law of karma. But at the samashti level, it is only one kshetrajna, one sakshi, and one sakshyam, witness and the witnessed. But the sakshi is not affected. How do you conclude this? How do you say that sakshi and sakshyam, they are not related? How you conclude sakshi is unaffected? Shankaracharya gives the logic. What does he say? He says an illuminator is never tainted by whatever it illumines, whether it is negatively or positively. Suppose you see birth also, it is illumined by consciousness. Death also is illumined by consciousness. Because that birth that belongs to the body and the world. It is law of karma. So when you talk about Sakshi with reference to being an illuminator, you are already in the transcendent higher level. But when you're actually in the transaction, in Vyavahara, you want to understand the Vyavahara, you will say that illuminator is in contact. That means it is immanent principle. See, keep remembering these principles, immanent and transcendent. So as a transcendent principle, it never affects me. I'll give an example. Baker, he alone becomes the dreamer and the dreamer. When he becomes the dreamer, it is immanent principle. When he drops the dream world and he again comes back to the waking, he is the transcendent principle. Now you can see transcendent and immanent with reference to the waker and dreamer. Apply the same rule with reference to Sakshi and the waker. Sakshi becomes the waker in the waking world, immanent position. Sakshi becomes transcendent and it can remain alone. It can remain independent of the waking world. That is called as transcendent principle. Kathopanishad gives an example of the sun in this mantra, the second chapter. I'm going to do Kathopanishad for the Saturday sessions after 1 week, not the next week, the following week. I'm going to start. Here it says the sun is the eye of the whole world. When it is in the presence of the sun, all the transactions are happening. And like that sun is this Atma. In the presence of Atma, the whole work, the transactions happen at the body level, mind level. Shvetashvara Upanishad gives you another beautiful mantra. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. This Atma is the subtlest in the universe. It is concealed in the heart of all the beings, whether it is an ant, whether it is an elephant, whether it is a human being, whether it's a bird, it is Atma is there. It is the inner essence of all of us. By the grace of that Ishvara, which is present in this body, mind, we become free because we get this knowledge and we understand the nature of Ishvara. Svetashvara has the following 3 verses here, which are very, very beautiful verses, which gives the nature of Atma. In the 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, 6th chapter, the 3 verses of Svetashvara Upanishad. See how many verses, how many Upanishads we are covering. This Atma is present everywhere, all pervasive. If I know that Atma is all pervasive, then I will get rid of this Vyashti Atma. You see, you will not say, I am in this body only. So you will become free. This next mantra, the 4th chapter, 10th mantra, is a very famous mantra in Svetashvara. Maya tu prakritim vidya, mayinum tu maheshwaram. Here in the Upanishad wants us to remember the Maya Shakti in this creation. Maya Shakti which belongs to Ishvara, which belongs to the Creator. And in this Maya Shakti only we are all acting. But remember, while we are acting, we must always look at Tatra Suryo Bhati, Chandra Tarakam, Nema Vidyato Bhanti, Kutoya Patmihi. While acting, we must remember this nature of Atma. This mantra comes in three Upanishads, Kathopanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, and Shvetashvara Upanishad, because it's so famous. And it gives you the direct definition of Atma. If you remember this and you try to understand your own nature as per this definition, you will not miss your Atma. If you are missing it, you tell me in the chat box. I will again try to repeat this. What this mantra says is, when you are in the sleep state, you are this Turiyam Brahma. In that Turiyam, there is no light which can shine, which can illumine that Turiyam nature, because it is self-shining. Don't try to again find out in meditation, is there any other, don't try to objectify that, because this Atma is self-evident. It is, once you drop the five koshas, or the three bodies, or the three avasthas, you are with that Atma. And the proof of that is this mantra, which comes in three Upanishads. There is one which destroys the ignorance, that is Atma Jnanam. When you have Atma Jnanam, you will realize that the fire exists in the water. All the elements, they are all interrelated. Ultimately, everything, like in Taittiriya Upanishad, it says very clearly, from Atma, Akasha is born. From Akasha, Vayu is born. From Vayu, Agni is born. Jalam is born. Prithvi is born. That is what it says here. So sunlight pervades the entire earth. Similarly, Atma, the light, the spiritual light, pervades this entire creation. Whatever is the object which is illumined, it does not affect the illuminator. This principle, remember, I am the spiritual light which is illumining every day the body's actions, the body's joy, the body's sorrows, but the illuminator consciousness does not increase or decrease. For example, the sense objects and the sense organs. The power in the sense organs may diminish, but the eye is not affected. Eye means the golakam. Eyes are not defective. Eyes are created by the Lord from Panchabhutas. But the power in that, it may be defective. Similarly, we must realize Atma does not have any impurities. Another example Shankaracharya gives, when a candle burns the paper or anything which you put in fire, when it burns, nothing happens to the fire, but the objects which get in contact with them, they get burned. So similarly, sunlight does not get affected when it illumines the whole world. Consciousness, when it affects when it illumines the three states, it does not get affected. It is the vivarta karanam, changeless cause of this universe. So Turiyam consciousness is what? It is the changeless cause. What is the changing cause? Changing cause is the upadana karana. The Panchabhutas are changing. Prakriti is changing. But in this changing Prakriti, there is a changeless vivarta karanam, which is this consciousness. So, what did you understand from this shloka number 5? What I understood is, I am the Turiya Atma. I am never affected by the three avasthas of the mind and the body. Body-mind complex undergoes the three avasthas, and it will go through sorrow, joy, but Atma, the illuminator, is unaffected by any transaction in the universe. If you are able to absorb this knowledge of the fifth verse, you are free. It's such a beautiful verse. You can mark it in your Mandukya book. It's one of the most important verses. I will probably give you about 20 verses of Mandukya Upanishad in 4 chapters, not maybe 20, 25. I'm not sure. I have marked those verses. As we study, I will tell them. About 25 verses, you can say. Like I have for the Bhagavad Gita also top 50 verses out of the 700 verses. You have top 50 verses. Similarly, for uh, even you can make it. See, when you study the Mandukya Upanishad, uh, you yourself will feel that this verse is extremely important. So make a note of it. Fifth verse, very important to understand because the whole process is understanding at the intellectual level. There is nothing else involved. There is no mysticism when you come to Vedanta. Nobody has to touch your head or make you suddenly realize, and there is no illumination which happens like that. It is through understanding you liberate yourself from the sorrows of life. With this, we close, we end the fifth Karika. Now we enter a sixth Karika. The sixth Karika is slightly difficult to understand, but when you go through these notes, you will find it easy.
प्रभवः सर्वभावानां सतामिति विनिश्चयः सर्वं जनयति प्राणः चेतोऽंशून् पुरुषः पृथक्
Verse, there are 46 pages which explain this verse from 488 to 525. 46 pages are there, 46, 47 pages are there which explain this verse. Now, this verse is giving us the logic of creation. Okay? And this logic of creation is explained in the third chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, and also it is expanded in the fourth chapter of Mandukya. Mandukya Upanishad, as we study these chapters, Gaudapadacharya will give us all the philosophers' view about creation. See, we don't find Sankhya and Nyaya and all today, but they all exist in some form or the other in our world, even today. Some people will think that the world is nothing. Some people will say that time is everything. Some people will say the world is only panchabhutas. All these ideas are there. Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya. That is why you need to have patience when you study Mandukya Upanishad. It will give you step by step, it will give you the final vision. Like you have a jigsaw puzzle. Suppose there are 100 chips which you join and you will get the full picture. The 100th chip will be given to you in the fourth chapter, in the 100th verse. So you need to have patience. You need to understand step by step. It's a very, very systematic, scientific study. Very logical. You will see the highest form of logic being used in Veda, in Mandukya. Okay. Now here in this verse, what Gaudapadacharya is saying, now the next verse, the 7, 8, and 9, those are all talking about the different philosophers and what they think about the creation. A mini analysis will come about the different theories of creation. Right now itself, it will come. But the details of this will be explained with a lot of elaboration in the fourth chapter. Here, what he starts like this. What he says is, for everything which we see as a product in nature, there has to be a cause. For example, if you see a son or a daughter, you will know there is a cause. There are parents before them. Similarly, my parents have got parents before them. That means what? There is a relationship between cause and effect. Now, there are two or three different schools of thought which Gaudapadacharya is introducing in this verse. He is going to divide these details later, but now he wants us to just get an idea so that to understand the seventh mantra, see, with the help of the fifth mantra, now you can understand the seventh mantra of the Upanishad very well. Because you know what is Turiya. You know that Turiya means Sakshi. Turiya means independent. Okay, that knowledge you have to remember when we discuss the seventh mantra. After 4 Karikas, we are going to do the seventh mantra. Okay, now here um, so here we are talking about how the creation comes, how the human beings are born. Okay, when we go through the slides of this 46 pages, then you will understand. The karyam, the product is always name and form. Okay, product is always name and form. But what is the cause? The cause is karanam. The cause is consciousness. The cause is consciousness. The world is a product. That is the essence behind this verse. So between the first and the fifth verse, the sixth mantra of Gaudapadacharya, the sixth mantra of the Upanishad, he treats it separately. Now he is trying to come and explain to us the sixth mantra. In the following 3-4 verses, we will be mainly focusing on the sixth mantra, which is the third pada, the sleep state. Slowly, we are trying to understand that state. That is why we are getting into this type of analysis. He is asking the question, who are we in our sleep state? We are all Ishvara in our sleep state. Very bold statement he makes, which we didn't know. You and I will never know this if you don't come and study Mandukya. And what is Ishvara? Ishvara is the Karanam for the Jagat. Sleep state itself, Gaudapadacharya and Mandukya Upanishad, they try to close the creation at the sleep state. And then they say beyond the sleep state is the ultimate truth, which is Turiya. Try to understand, it's a very subtle teaching. But when you go through these notes, you will be able to slowly start accepting the truth and also understanding the truth. Many people, they understand, but then they don't accept. So you have to do both. Understand academically and also accept it as a final truth, which is the truth of the universe. We are not bound by time, space, objects, and we are limitless. Sanmatra Ishvara. Sanmatra means Ishvara independently exists as pure consciousness, pure existence. For a jnani and ajnani, what is the difference in their understanding of the sleep state? Jnani will say, I am with Ishvara. Ajnani means what? Ignorant person. What will he say? He will say, I don't know anything in the sleep state. He is referring to the tamo guna, the tamasic guna of Maya Shakti. Only when I drop the tamo guna, then only I can say I am with Ishvara. That is why we say that Maya Shakti crossing over. Yesterday, somebody was asking me how to cross this Maya Shakti. Shanta was asking me this. Now, here is the way, the methodology. Understanding that in the sleep state, I am with Ishvara. I am not bound by Maya Shakti. If I'm bound by Maya Shakti, I will be having the feeling. I will always be telling everybody, I don't know who am I. But suppose you remove that veiling. How to remove? Learn what happens in the sleep state. So I drop the tamoguna of the mind. This tamoguna, where does it exist? It exists in our minds. So when I am identified with the tamoguna, I will say I had a good rest. I had joy. I experienced joy in my sleep. I was restful. You will not say, I was one with the cause of this universe. It will take a lot of learning of the intellect to say, I am with Ishvara. That is why the study of Mandukya is very important. I'm not bound by the time, space, and objects because in the sleep state, you have dropped the time, you have dropped the space, and your undifferentiated mass of consciousness. It is the truth revealed by Mandukya Upanishad. That pure mass of consciousness cannot exist without Sanmatra Ishvara. Sanmatra Ishvara is the pure existence, pure consciousness. Even in Taittiriya Upanishad, you have to use this knowledge to drop the Panchakoshas. Here we are trying to drop three avasthas. In Taittiriya Upanishad, when we have the Anupravesha Stuti and when we have Upasankramanya verses where it is a resolution of the Pancha Koshas, it is the same what we are doing in Mandukya when we are trying to understand the sleep state. The third pada is called as Prajna or Antaryami Ishvara. Prajna is at the individual level. Antaryami Ishvara is at the samashti level. At the sleep state, Antaryami Ishvara and Prajna, they merge. That is why it is called as undifferentiated state. When you take that as Ishvara, merged condition of the entire universe, you will accept that as the Sarvayoni. It is the Karanam. Sarvayoni means it is the womb of the entire creation in the unmanifest form. Jiva and Jagat, which we experience in the waking state, is the manifest condition of that Ishvara, which is in unmanifest condition, Karana Avastha and Karya Avastha. Now you can see how from the three avasthas, now you have to understand what is the Karana Avastha, what is the Karya Avastha. Nowhere else you can find such deep study of Mandukya Upanishad except in Shankaracharya. In mantra number 6, Upanishad introduces Shrishti Prakaranam. It is a very big topic in all the schools, and it is covered in chapter 3 and chapter 4 of Mandukya. Chapter 3 covers the Sankhya portion. In chapter 4, we will understand all the schools of thought, how Vedanta will negate all the schools, whether it is Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika. These were the schools which were existing during Shankaracharya. Today also you will find similar mindsets. May not be in the same way, but when you go to the chapter 4, you will also say, yes, I used to think the world was like this. Then you have to drop that. I used to think the world was like this. Then Shankaracharya says, drop that. And then he will give his own theory, which is called as Mithya theory. Now, what are the three broad schools of thought? Jagakarya. What is the cause of this world? The first one is called as Satkaryavada. That means Sankhya is the philosophy which says there was world which was in unmanifest form, and that world is now in the form of manifest. Second one is called as Asatkaryavada, which says that there was no world in potential condition. World is always a new creation. That is Asatkaryavada. I'm now discussing the theory about creation. We will, as you go through these 40 slides, you will understand it better. But these are all very logical analysis of creation. What does Veda then say? Veda then says there is a adhishtanam and there is a adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. Adhishtanam means there is a substrat. Creation is nothing but substratum and adhyasa. Adhyasa means projection. Sleep state is the karana. Waking and dream is the adhyasa. Substratum is the sleep state. Substratum is called as adhishtana. Like the rope snake. Rope snake is the waking and dream. All projections, all errors. What is the substratum? No projections, no ignorance. You remove the ignorance and you remove the projections and you will know the substratum. And that is what is called as Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Okay. So what I'll do is in mantra number 6, Upanishad negates this Asatkaryavada in the mantra number 6 itself, in the which has been covered already. Non-existent product alone is created. This has been negated. Why? Existent product need not be created. That is what is the Asatkarya Vada's negation of the Satkarya. So basically what Gaudapada Acharya says is he says you drop both Satkaryam and Asatkaryam, both have got flaws. What is the correct methodology to understand the world is Adhishtanam and Mithya. Okay. Now, I think I will stop here and or let me see if I can close this. Okay, I'll go through with one more slide. If now here, how do these refutations take place? Now, what the Satkaryavada, the original, the one who says that there is a potential, that potential only comes out as the creation. See, that when you study these theories, it also gives us knowledge of the world and how different people think about the world. What the Satkaryavada says is, for example, you are saying that from there is nothing and the world is created. That means there is no potential condition. Then Satkaryavada says, from an oil seed, oil can come. From a mango seed, mango tree can come. That means from the potential condition of the mango seed, a potential mango tree can come. So when you see the creation, there is a potential condition which comes into manifestation. You cannot say that that the creation is coming out of nothing. It is a newly created world. There is a specific karanam for a specific karya. The son is born to a father, specific karma. Otherwise, we will have problems. You will have to say that so all the Pharisees will be discussed later. But here, just a sample is being given by Gaudapadacharya in this analysis of 46 pages. Specific punya papam is required for the shariram. For example, each one of us, we experience different aspects in life. So why? Because there is a karma. In potential condition is there. That is all this law of karma. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, and so on. Now, the gist of the sloka, so here, asatkaryavada is negated by the satkaryavada. Satkaryavada means, now you understand. There is a potential condition of the universe, which is the karana avastha. That potential condition comes out as the real creation in manifestation. Okay. The gist of this shloka, I'm going to take it up next week. Okay, I'm going to give you, it's a very long list, and then we will see, then the Karika will start. Okay, so we will start from the gist of the shloka next week from this 493 slide. So this goes on till 595. Okay. So with this, I will stop. Next week, we'll start the 6th mantra, the gist first, and then I will get into the actual analysis of Shankaracharya. It's a long one. There's a lot of logic behind this, and if you slowly will understand the nature of creation from the Vedantic point of view. See, why do we understand all this? Why do we need to understand this? We have to say firmly that our matam is the right. Okay. All right. We close this Mandukya with this portion. O Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacchade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I don't see anything on the chat box today. So if anybody has a question, you can ask. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Yeah, Nandu, you can, yeah, go ahead, Nandu.
Hariom, sorry. Since we are Learning like Taittiriya Upanishad and as well as Mandukya Upanishad. And in Taittiriya Upanishad, we have learned about like 5 koshas. And that 5 koshas, if you can see like initial one, like Annamaya and Pranmaya, can we treat that as a like Vishwa? Whereas Manomaya and the Vijnanamaya as Tejas and the Anandamaya kosha as a Pradnya. Is that understanding is little bit similarity, or is there any differences, major differences?
Okay. To answer this question, you must first answer what is gross body, what is subtle body, and what is causal body. So, because when you come to Mandukya Upanishad, you will be using these bodies for the 3 avasthas. Let me first go to Taittiriya Upanishad, then we'll compare with the Mandukya. In Taittiriya Upanishad, Annamaya kosha is the gross body. The Anandamaya kosha is the causal body. 2 extremes. Annamaya, the first kosha. Anandamaya, the 5th kosha. Annamaya is the gross body. Anandamaya is the causal body. In between the 3 koshas, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya is the subtle body. Okay, so this is the 3 bodies at the Taittiriya Upanishad. To Mandukya. In Mandukya, we say that experiences through the physical body is the waking state. That means Annamaya kosha. Experience through the causal body is the sleep state. So causal body related to sleep state, physical body related to waking state. Then in between the 3, that means Pranamaya, Manomaya and Vijnanamaya, we are putting them together. The subtle body, we are in the Mandukya Upanishad, we are taking it as the dream state. Now, you may have a question. That means in the Annamaya kosha, is there a prana or not? Is there manaha or not? Is there a intellect or not? In the physical body only I am sleeping. How do we distribute this in this fashion? What you should understand is predominantly the mind is involved in the dream state. Predominantly the physical body is involved in the waking state. Predominantly the causal body is there in the sleep state. Pradhanam. So when you look at what is the dominant factor, that is what is related to the different states. As you understand the Mandukya, as you are going to understand, slowly you're going to understand all this very beautifully. Especially the 3 avasthas, the Mandukya is absolutely superb in analyzing. Have I answered your question?
Yeah. So I think then maybe like just little bit more clarification. So initial one like Annamaya we can treat as like a Vishwa,
Correct.
then Manomaya as like a Tejas, and the Anandmaya as the Pradnya.
Correct. That's correct. Take that as the broad classification between the 5 koshas and the 3 bodies and the 3 avasthas. You have to link the kosha, avastha, and the bodies, and then say that I am the Atma, which is not the 5 koshas, not the 3 bodies, not the 3 avasthas. That is the fundamental definition of Atma in Tattvabodha. In Tattvabodha, the definition of Atma is I am not the 5 koshas, I am not the three bodies. I am not the three avasthas. I am Turiya Atma. I am ever free from all this anatma. Good. Your question is good. And I'm very happy that you're thinking and trying to link, because this shows that you have a very inquisitive intellect. Good. Keep thinking in these ways, because that is the way a seeker slowly develops the aptitude to understand Atma clearly. Okay, Nando, thank you. I see Shanta. Uh, okay, go ahead, Shanta.
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you very much for this session today. It was quite a deep understanding for me. And mainly, I enjoyed that, when you explain the Sakshi as the two principles, the eminent principle and the transcendent principle, it just makes you, I just felt that, yes, these, even when we become an observer, we have to keep in mind that how the Maya Shakti covers and how you get affected and you don't get affected.
Correct.
And
You have
I
the
think that
right.
is,
How to,
yeah,
yesterday the question was how to cross the Maya. Today I
yes,
have given you explanation.
yes. And but now I have got another question which says,
Yeah,
now, oh, all these actions, whatever happens, is because of a prarabdha karma. That is, we have, we are at this stage, we believe it
yeah,
by the
yeah.
time, yeah. And there is a Maya Shakti, which actually hides us from our future, or our real self, this
Correct.
actual Swarupa, right? But with knowledge, we are able to cross that Maya Shakti. So Maya Shakti is like some sort of a power which sort of keeps us away from, or keeps us ignorant, or whatever you can say. So when we go through either meditation or with this learning, um, uh, I'm just as if I have to give you a very crude example, I would say, uh, we could not fly. As human beings, we can't fly, but we learned the laws, we learned science, and we are today able to fly, right? uh, Using aeroplane. So my question is, um, what is that principle which actually gives that Maya Shakti? Maya Shakti covers different people with different levels, because everybody can't reach, and how this Maya Shakti can be dismantled, if I use the word incorrectly, I know, but so that that jnanam of the Swarupa is seen. And so the connection between the levels of these layers of Maya, which helps you to, because we are basically, every time we learn or we do meditation, we are crossing those levels of covering of Maya, I believe,
Right.
because
That's
that
right.
is why you're reaching that end, right? So what is the relation between the prarabdha karma, the levels which it forms, which keeps the person ignorant for a long time, or with that many births the person becomes less ignorant and then eventually becomes jivan mukta? So what is the relation? uh, the principle, I want to know this. I know I'm looking at science here, but what is that? What actually tells the Maya Shakti, okay, I'm going to cover this guy with 7 layers, and I'm going to cover this guy with 5 layers, or whatever it is, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. See, the way to look at this question is,
Mhm.
first of all, you should understand the Maya Shakti, how it operates. Maya Shakti operates in two fashions. One is uh, Vikshepa Shakti, which is the projections of your mind.
Mhm.
And the second is the wheeling Shakti. That means the covering nature. It covers our real nature.
Mhm.
Now, covering of the real nature is avidya. Avidya will go only by vidya. So, by a clear understanding of Mandukya Upanishad, you would get rid of the ignorance about yourself. That is a very, very important element in that. You're talking about the two factors. I'm giving you two two main factors to cross Maya. One is Avidya. Avidya can go only by Vidya. That means you have to gather more and more knowledge of that pure state of Atma, which is the Turiya. Keep on gathering more and more. When you gather that information more and more, what will happen is Avidya will go away. You will say, I know clearly Atma now. I'm telling you, at the end of the fourth chapter, you will be so satisfied and so fulfilled. You say, I have never understood the world as it has been explained to me in Mandu. It is such a beautiful text to go through. So this textual academic study will clear the wheelie part, the covering part of art. The second part is the projections. That means my mind keeps on projecting. That is what is another Shakti of. Now, this Shakti of Maya, which is projecting a wrong world for me, a delusionary world for me, that is the law of karma, which is acting in my mind. See, law of karma is something which we are learning. But then how does it express itself? How do I experience it? It is only through the mind. There is no other Maya. There is nothing else called Maya outside my body mind complex. My mind is the projecting power of that Maya Shakti. How do I get hold of this Maya Shakti, the projecting power of this Maya Shakti? For that, there are several exercises. Meditation is one of the most important exercises for that projecting power of Maya Shakti. As you meditate on the Upanishadic texts, you contemplate. When I say meditate, means not that you just sit down and close your eyes and do nothing. No. Sit down, or even while walking in the garden at 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, you walk around and let your mind contemplate. You can even sit down and contemplate. You can take a piece of paper and contemplate. So, by contemplating, using the logic given in Mandukya Upanishad, that projecting power of Maya, you can reduce. So, how to tackle the two big problems of Maya, how to cross it over is, these are the two methodologies which Veda itself gives us. In Mandukya Upanishad, Gaudapadacharya is going to teach us that. As we go through the study, your question will be answered and slowly you will start getting it. The seventh mantra itself, you will start getting a glimpse of, you see, of how this avidya can be dropped. Because vidya comes in. Vidya is an antidote for avidya. So, to some extent, have I answered your question?
Yes, indeed. Yes. No, it definitely has helped, because I'm just trying, because yesterday when, in Taittiriya Upanishad, when I asked, and it was more like the Dvaitam starts off when you wake up, and the Maya Shakti projects that Dvaitam, right? And today the Sakshi is the one which actually has got two aspects, which I learned. And so all that put together, and now your explanation, I think I have to wait to learn.
Correct. You see, it's a slow process of learning. You see, the intellect, it does not absorb all this. You see, the problem is Veda is a very huge literature which is available. So many Upanishads, so many areas. But the beauty is in Mandukya, the structure of the Upanishad and the way Gaudapadacharya and Shankaracharya explain is amazing. It is straight to the point of moksha. I have not seen any other text in the entire Vedantic literature which is as perfect and as scientific as it can be in the world of Vedantic literature. Veda is very huge. You have Bhagavad Gita, you have Kathopanishad, you have Ishavasya, you have Kaivalya, so many Upanishads, so many different types of theories, so many. But then uh, Kathopanishad has got a structure, and it is the analysis of the Kathopanishad, both by Gaudacharya and Shankaracharya, is an amazing analysis. You just go through the analysis, let your mind, keep your mind open. Every time you come to the class, just keep it completely open. Means what? You don't have any notions in your mind. Let the knowledge come in. Let the knowledge come. Keep that as the process of study. And then let the mind forms its grooves of thinking as per the Mandukya Upanishad logic and as per the revelation in Mandukya. Okay, good. Very, very deep question. Thank you. Jacqueline, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Shankar, in the Vedantic, right, or you just mentioned that in the sleep stage is Ishvara. We are all Ishvara. When we are awake, it was mind that is coming in, illuminate. It is also a consciousness that illuminating what I think. I'm asking you, the consciousness behind is asking me to ask you. So my question is, when we are at the sleep stage, that's the best. We are not thinking. Are we indirectly being moved, whether move or whatever, being directed with some solution from the sleep, because the consciousness is there, the body is there, so the consciousness is all over the world, all over the universe. In a nutshell, if there's a solution, is it coming from the during the sleep stage and then eliminating at during the waking up state? You understand my question?
Okay, I know what you are asking. I can see the depth of your question. What you are asking is basically, is there that consciousness which is the ultimate solution for the entire world, which I have to drop?
Yeah.
See, you want to drop the world, you don't know how to drop the world. You want to have freedom from the world. I want freedom from this body. I want freedom from this mind, which is causing lot of delusions, lot of confusions in my waking state. I don't know how to come out of this body. I don't know how to come out of this, because normally in my waking state, I'm always there. Tomorrow morning also, I'll again come back to the waking state. So the teaching, you try to understand the teaching correctly. What is the teaching telling me? The teaching is telling me that the waking state is a state where I can see a difference between me and the world. This is called as Dvaitam. This is called as duality. Very clear. Everybody knows this. I am not the world is not me. I am different than the world. This is called as duality.
Yes.
Very good. This is my experience.
Yes.
Everybody experiences that. But is this the truth? That is what the Upanishad is asking you. Is this the ultimate truth of the world?
No.
It is not. Now, but what is ultimate truth then? Okay, fine. Now you say, okay, I don't think this is the truth, because, when the body is there, as long as the body is there, I'm going to see this Dvaita. I'm going to have this plurality and duality and all that.
Yes.
But then my body is gone. What's going to happen to me?
Yeah.
That is a question everybody has.
Okay.
For that answer, you have to study Mandukya Upanishad, which says, now, Jacqueline, try to drop this waking state. Now come to the sleep state.
Yeah, I think I love that sleep stage. Now,
everybody likes the sleep state for two reasons. One is they are resting, and the second is they have nothing to do with this world. All the problems of the world are only at the waking state level. They are nothing at the sleep state. Now, in the sleep state, the Upanishad or the teacher who is teaching you is asking you, what is really happening in the sleep state? Now,
Yeah.
you tell me clearly.
Yeah.
What is your experience? From an experience angle, you tell me. Don't tell me, from the experience angle, you will say, I am experiencing not duality, but singularity. That means non-dual nature. That means there is no subject object.
Okay. Yeah.
See, in the waking state, subject object. In the dream state, subject object. I am the dreamer, I am experiencing the dream world. I am the waker, I am experiencing the waking world. In the sleep state, the teacher is saying that this duality is resolved. It is happening, but you don't know. Only when you come to this Upanishadic study, oh my God, I never knew this. This is the nature of the world. Manifestation, unmanifestation. Manifestation, unmanifestation. It is happening. Throughout my day, throughout my life, I have experienced this. But I never thought about this duality and singularity. I never thought of Advaitam. There is no, in my sleep state, it is all one mass of consciousness. I am there. But the world is not there. There is no duality. There is no subject object. What the teacher says is, now you tell me, are you there in the sleep state or not? Yes. But in what form are you there? You are there in the form of consciousness. You are there, but not as the body, not as Jacqueline, the physical body, not as Jacqueline, the mental mindset. There is no mind at the sleep state. At the sleep state, there are two ways you should understand the sleep state. One, sleep state is a condition of the mind in a resolved condition, in a resolution. Mind is resolved. When the mind is resolved, the sense organs are resolved, the emotions are resolved, all the knowledge of the world is resolved. That is one aspect of the sleep state. There is another aspect of the sleep state which I don't know. I will know only when I come to this Mandukya Upanishad. And that is what I am, the consciousness in the sleep state. That consciousness is one part of the sleep state. Consciousness part never changes. It is nothing to do with the body. Body is born to my mother. It's okay. I've already dropped it. The body is dropped in the waking state itself. It's got nothing. This consciousness always there. It is a new discovery for me. Something new. I never knew this. That is what the Upanishad is trying to say. That is your spiritual essence. Spiritual essence never changes. Never changes. It is always the same. Whether the body is there or body is not there. Suppose the body goes away in the waking state. It is not there in the waking state. How will I be? I'll still be conscious. I'll be conscious of my pure state, not conscious with the body, not consciousness with the three avasthas, with the three states of waking, dream, and sleep. That will not be there. But I will still be there as what? Pure consciousness. And that is what is called as freedom. Ultimate freedom is what? I am always free. Not that I'm free only when I'm sleeping, not when I'm free only when I'm in the waking state, not free when the dream is going on. I am ever free.
Yeah.
That freedom is what the Mandukya Upanishad is going to teach you for the next 1 year.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's the best. Okay. Because yeah, that's the best. If everyone is being illuminated in that way, nothing that we are facing, that we are afraid of, or it will just keep on moving?
Correct. Now you're getting it. Now the answer is slowly coming into your mind. Good.
Yeah, appreciate.
Good. Very good, Jacqueline. Keep thinking. Let the knowledge come in. Let you get absorbed of it. What you are asking is a very beautiful question. Okay, thank you. Anybody else has a question? If there are no other
Hariom,
questions,
Hariom
yeah,
Shekhar, sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
Hariom Shekhar. I have a very free question which came up. One of the sessions, very earlier, we said that the mukti is not adrishta, it is drishtafaram. So, right,
Yes.
you will know it.
Yeah.
So, having said that, if I know it, then definitely there is an involvement of intellect and mind. Having said that, that will be known to me obviously when I'm in the waking state, and hence from the waking state alone, I will have to put in those efforts to get into the Turiyam. In the sense, Turiyam is not a fourth stage; it is also existing. It is a basis on which the waking also is sustained, and dreaming and sleeping. Having known that, why am I spending so much of time in a sleep state? Because through which I will never be taking cognizance of it, right? Because the mind is put to sleep, intellect is put to sleep, and I'm
Yeah.
happy there, and which I don't know. Why should I not actually put in more effort through my Jagrat Avastha into that aspect of sadhana, wherein I will be knowing while in the waking state, silence my mind to know the Turiyam, which is the basis. It's like the movie going on the screen. When I put
Yeah.
off the movie, then I can take my observance onto the black screen, which was non-participative, non-attached, but still the sustainer of the movie.
Okay. There are two answers to your question. One part of the answer is, see, why do we need to sleep and why we can't continue our sadhanas in waking state itself? That question, the answer to that question is, the creation is consist of three gunas: Rajo, Tamas, and Sattva. The Tamo guna will make you sleep. That is a condition of the universe. It is a law of the universe. Like the sun rises, you will go to sleep. The dogs go to sleep, the rabbits go to sleep, the birds go to sleep, human beings go to sleep. So, condition of sleep, nobody can avoid. Very difficult, but very rare cases, there are some people who say, no, I never sleep. But 99.99%, it is because of tamoguna. And you also rise up from sleep state to the waking state because of the rajoguna, which is there in the prakriti. Prakriti means what? It is mind. Mind is prakriti. So the mind has got tamoguna, mind has got rajoguna. Now you have to increase the sattva guna of the mind. By reducing the tamoguna and the rajoguna, you have to increase the sattva guna. It is the sattva guna mind which gets the knowledge of Atma. So this is one part of your question, the answer to the question of why we don't spend so much time behind sadhanas but we have to sleep. Now the second part of the question which you asked, moksha phalam is drishta phalam. It is not adrishta phalam. Why do we say moksha or freedom is drishta phalam? How will I know that when the mind is not there, how will I experience this freedom? Is there any way? Is it possible? Only through mind only I experience everything. But now you're saying that drop the mind, nothing is there. This is where you have to use the knowledge of Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. There are two types of knowledge. One is Swarupa Jnanam, second is Vishaya Jnanam. Both are Jnana. Moksha is Swarupa Jnanam, which is self-evident. It is Drishta phalam. It is, you are drishtam. You always are conscious. You're conscious always. It is all. So this is what is called as drishta phalam. Drishta phalam means it is evident to you. Consciousness is evident to you, self-evident to you. It is not because of the mind. Mind is used only for Vishaya Jnana. Whatever the world consists of, the five sense organs and the five sense objects is the parameter, is the field of knowledge for the mind. What lies beyond the mind is Atma, and that Atma is self-evident. So it is Drishta Phalam, and when you know that Atma, you will say, you will be free. You will say that I don't know why, but I feel I'm free. That's all. When your mind drops away and drops all the obstacles and the questions about the world, and it knows clearly the Atma, you have pure knowledge of the Atma, then your mind will say, I am free. That freedom is moksha. That freedom is known because it is Sakshi, it is the nature of Sakshi to realize its freedom. Am I getting, is it clear? Vijaya, is it clear what I've said?
I was on mute. Yes, Shekharji, I think you have answered to me, but I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
See, when in Mandukya, we are explaining more on the Sushupti Avastha. That was actually the relevant question. It's not that I shouldn't sleep or why am I sleeping. It's basically I am my exposition on the sleep state is more than the waking state, though waking state is the essential state for me to experience the Jivan Mukta state. But because the sleep state becomes the Karana, and so he says from the gross to the subtle, and when I'm coming to the Karana Avastha, which is the basis for my other two states, and that's the reason why Shankaracharya is taking me through for a very long period of time, understanding the sleep avastha, Karana. From Karana, you are taking us to the Akarana, actually. But we
Correct.
have to somehow establish the relationship between having understood the Karana. My effort is having understood the Karana, I have to go into the waking state, right? Because Jagrat here is from the waker to the super waker, which is called the Turiyam. So I have to somehow have a relationship established, having understood the Sushupti. How would I take that knowledge and apply it in my waking states, that what I'm experiencing is because of the potential Karanavastha, and then therefore do those counteractions to be able to spiritually awaken? That was my counter question. I mean, the follow-on question.
Okay. Now this will be answered. Your question is valid. It will be answered when you learn the seventh. See, today you
Okay.
are saying, today you're saying I should learn how to go from waking state to Turiyam state and understand my
Yeah.
freedom. That
Yes.
is correct.
Yes.
But you are missing some point there. The point you're missing is it is the same Turiam which is there in waking. It is the same
Mhm.
Turiam which is there in the sleep. It is the same Turiam which is there in the dream. That Turiam is what you're trying to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether if going from waking state and trying to understand, or going from sleep state trying to understand the Adhishtanam, which is the Turi. In the seventh mantra, what we are going to say is, for all the three states, which is Mithya, there is one Adhishtanam, which is the substratum, which is Turiya. And knowing that Turiyam's nature as Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam,
Mhm.
I get freedom from identification with the body and mind as me. The Turiyam is not only in waking, it is there in dream, it is the substratum for all the three states. This is the new knowledge which I get. That is why it is called as Karana Karya Vilakshana.
Election. Mm.
Suppose it is a part of the Karanam, then it will be it will be a part of the waking state also. Waking state, you drop it as Karyam and finished. That's all. Dream state, you
Correct.
drop it as Karyam and close it. Sleep state, you take it as the Karanam and close it. So now, having closed the three boxes, the three containers, what is left? What is left is Karana Karya Vilakshana Atma.
Hmm.
This will take a little bit of time for the mind to appreciate, understand, correctly identify, and that is where you should apply the verse na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. You apply
Yeah.
that mantra to the Turiyam level, which is beyond Karanam and Karyam, and you will understand moksha and Turiyam very clearly, and you will accept it as the ultimate.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Vishal.
Yes. Thank you, Shankaracharya. Thank you.
Bharat, you have some comment?
Hello, Shakaji. Can you hear me
Go
okay?
ahead, yeah.
I was going to respond to Vijayaben, but you already said the point I was going to make. All I was going to say is that I think Vijayaben, I think I understand the point you're trying to make, and my understanding was that we can talk about the waking state, having learned the Mandukya Upanishad. Then we can say things like, well, I can do everything in my waking state, and how much value am I getting out of Sushupti, sleep state? But the thing is that it's only when you see that what the waking state, the dream state, and the sleep state, what you are, that which all of those three states are appearing to, and only then does it hit you, as mantra 7 will, that there is no relationship between you and whatever is happening.
Okay.
Nothing at all. And for that, as Shakaji has said, you have to wait for mantra 7.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bharat. Because my worry is, see, if I am in the Sushupti, from Sushupti, I can never understand. And when na Suryo Bhati na Chandrama, so even that verse, how much of faith that I require to understand the thing which is unknown, anor aniyam, achintyoyam.
It's not.
I cannot understand it at all.
It's
Yeah.
not that it's unknown, as quoting Swami Vivekananda. It's completely known. It's more known than you can ever imagine. The very fact that you're saying it's unknown, who is saying that?
Yeah. I wish I would understand,
it's
break the pierce that veil.
so
Yeah.
it's known.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
unknown is also known.
Yes.
Unknown,
Yeah, in the unknown there is
also
known.
known.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
knowing factor is conscious.
That's consciousness.
That's consciousness. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we say that is consciousness, but then that's just conceptualizing something in this empirical reality. It's just a concept. When you're meditating or doing nidhyasana, it's wordless. You can't even bring a thought for it, but everything is happening.
Right. Correct.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bharat. Thank
Shakti.
you. Yeah, Bharat has
one
done
thing,
Mandukya Upanishad 7 times so far, in so many different...
Nine times now with your
9
study,
and,
and
oh
and
my
and
God.
and I'm never going to stop. I'm going to keep going.
yeah, and
That's the way to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
see, he has
But
done
it's not easy,
Mandukya
Shekhar.
Upanishad from different authors and different
Yeah.
teachers. He has got so many teachers of Mandukya Upanishad he has gone through. And he's the one who is helping me to edit my notes for Mandukya. whatever you are seeing in as class notes, he has edited them. So he's doing a wonderful job of cutting some of the cutting some of the areas which may not be required. And he is a perfect person because he knows the inside out of Mandukya. Great, very good, Bharat. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you
There's
for
one
your
thing I would
Thank
like
you,
contribution
to
Bharat.
say.
classes.
Yeah, there's one thing I would like to say, Bharatji. When you mentioned, you said about when you understand yourself, your Swarupa, then all the three avasthas are not connected, nothing is connected. Which Vijayaji was saying, that you need to understand the waking and to sleep state to understand the super waker state. But when you said that once you understand your Swarupa, then all the three are not connected, and there is no connection. And I just think it reminds me of because my favorite text so far, because I only learned that one well, I would say, or I'm still learning, is Bhagavad Gita, which I keep going back to. Is the chapter 9 verse
Yeah.
4, which or chapter 7, when you talk about the verse 12, where the last sentence which says that na toham teshu temai ya na chaham teshu vastitaha. So both these sentences just exactly hit that and say what you said, that you're in them, and you're totally not connected by any of these states.
It's the transcendental and immanent nature that those are the concepts which are put forward. The best way is wave and water. The water
Yeah.
transcends the wave, but the water
Yeah.
is immanent in the wave.
In the wave, yeah.
Same with you as consciousness. I don't know Bhagavad Gita too well. I do apologize, but the verse that
Okay.
sticks with me is chapter 2. That the real can never become unreal, and the unreal can never come into being.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do a
If you can,
meditation on that next week.
oh, thank you, because that verse is beautiful. When it clicks, who can understand that? The real. So who's the real? You.
Who's the real? Yeah.
You, the consciousness. It can only be you.
Isn't that na satyato bhava? Is that the one? 16, is it?
Verse number 16, I'm going to cover it next week in my meditation.
Okay.
Mr. Shekhar.
Yeah. Nasato vidyate bhavaha,
That was,
abhavo
yes.
vidyate
Yeah.
sataha,
Sataha.
vayoropi drishtonsava. Okay?
No. Yeah, I think it says like
that verse. 16th verse, it describes Satyam and the world is Mithya. And even your verse, chapter 7, verse number 12, which you are referring, Echaiva Satvika Bhavaha Rajasamastasha Matta Evekti Tanvitti Natwaham Teshu Temai. That means the whole waking state where you are experiencing the inert world and the sentient world, inert and sentient both are coming from me, the consciousness. That is the explanation of the 7th chapter, 12th mantra.
12th verse, yeah.
And the what Bharat is referring is the 16th mantra. We'll be discussing.
Yes.
I'll be giving you some explanation on that next week.
Okay.
Mr. Shekhar,
Yes,
as a human being, it is really amazing how all of us connect. To me, I knew you in the yoga session, maybe 5-6 years only I connect with you. But I'm amazed that the people inside the group here today or whatever, and how do they get to know? Obviously, there is some force that put us together, but it's amazing that, like Bharat, why there are so many people he selected you. That's amazing part also, you know? You know what I'm saying?
right.
He's in London, and why there's so many on the website, and we get together here, and I learned some from him also. I mean, I learned a lot from him. That is how, and yeah, it's amazing. And the rest of the people, obviously, some of Yeah, it's amazing as a human being. Maybe we should ask, hey, how do you get to know Mr. Shaker?
Oh, no. I mean, there are people here from the US. Ganesh Subramanian is from the US. Vijay is from Texas. And, see, this whole cosmos is interconnected. Always remember this, there is a law which connects people. There is a law which connects you to your spouse. There's a law which connects you to your children, you to your parents. There is a law.
Yes.
Appreciate that law and say it is that law which connects. There are people from India here. There are people from all over the world who come here. And we are discussing something which is common to all of us.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. That's what I'm saying. I really, anyway, that's the amazing part that I'm just saying. So many people, why they connect with you, and why I get to know Bharat, and why, that's the amazing part. That's what I'm saying.
May I say something, Shakashi? Jacqueline, thank you so much. But I just want to say that in Vedanta, Maya, we are constantly using neti to negate Maya, to recognize ourselves initially as that witness. That's only step one. However, what is Maya? It's Shakti. Who's Shakti? Your Shakti. So everything you're saying is your own manifestation. So good for you. Because of you, we're here.
Oh, okay. Okay. because of Mr. Shaker. Okay. Oh, appreciate. I love that one. Okay.
Vishalia, sir, I just want to say I love you, sir. We all love you. From the time we've met you, life has changed, and it's a blessing of God that we could find you. I have no words to, every time I see you, I just feel humbled and full of love. Thank you so much for being there, sir. You're a God's gift.
I salute that also. Yes.
Yes, and I would say, just adding to what Jacqueline said is what you're saying, Jacqueline, is so true. I did, listen to some other acharyas who are giving these talks online, but there was something which I just walked away from there.
Yeah.
And somehow and even when I learned Bhagavad Gita based on the videos of Shekharji, I had no one-to-one connection with him. I was just listening to his videos, and I absolutely enjoyed it. And I think at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, when I finished studying, I got in touch with him.
Yeah.
And then I started, but I think it is as Bharat explains the law, or Shekharji explains the law of attraction, which brings people together.
Yes.
And it is amazing. I feel the same gratitude, that it is, you will be surprised how I have landed here. It is from my Sanskrit class, my, a lecturer, a person sitting in US told me about this website, and here I am. So, I'm from India. So it is such a long connection if you have to think about it, but it's extremely small when we start getting into it.
Wow. Okay.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting you.
Jacqueline. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So we'll catch up next week. Each one who is here has got a history of how they have come here. Ganesh will give you a different experience. There are so many different experiences of people. Vijaya, who's now helping me with so much of chanting. I don't know how I found her. I have not even met her till today. But she is here every week, and she is chanting for the whole Mandukya Upanishad so far. She is covering 4 chapters, which is 200 verses, and she's chanting. And she is contributing so much for these talks. It's all God's play. It is some power which is there outside us. It is His way of the life, how it comes to us. It is His wish, I would say. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.